Greetings and welcome. Thank you for stopping by here on TikTok Live. If you are logging in on the original air date, which is Friday, I want to say May the, 20th or 21st. But either way, if you're logging on to YouTube later, just welcome whenever you happen to stop by. Thank you for joining. Now, what you all are looking at is obviously some nice, background there. But the topic says why it's best to just let go, to just let go. Something to that effect, I think. Why is it best to sometimes just let go or just walk away? Okay. And, I earlier today I was doing a personal reading and something came out in this particular personal reading. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, I can see where this gets very dicey and where some will wrestle with this. If you're somebody that's on a divine path and you went through an ascension and a healing and yada, yada, and you get truths before others. Okay. So this is what makes the path a little bit rough at first, because you get the enlightenments and the truths about things in advance. Okay. So a lot of people remain blind to a lot of things for a while, sometimes of years. It just depends on how fucked up they are. It depends on their environment and their surroundings, their belief systems, so many things. So it can make things a little choppy for you in terms of as you're dealing with people that, was connected to your old life, right? You see things in advance. Another thing that could be a throw off is you guys heard me mention about people who are readers or channelers and things of that nature, the nature of energy. Okay. It took me a minute to, kind of understand this. But, once you get on this path, it starts to become easier. Understanding that time in the way we think is actually an illusion. Okay. But it is used as a marker to help us make sense of experience from the perspective of being on Gaia in this 3D. It helps us to process, okay, make these connections and all these other things. Otherwise, it's all jumbled and our lower selves can't handle it, okay? So, but since that is the reality, when it comes to readings, when it comes to the esoteric practices, metaphysics, or even people who would call themselves, folks that call themselves mediums, psychics, whatever, right? And if they're highly in tune or in alignment and in a connection to this stuff, they're getting energy downloads. And because they get it all, it just depends on who they are, how they came here, and where they're at. So another throw off is that you may have received info regarding an event. Okay. You will get information regarding an event. And in the 3D, it has not fully manifested. So this can make you go bonkers. Okay, because then you'll start going back and forth and going, da. And then next thing you know, lo and behold, it was just slow. It was just behind you. 4 months later, the exact shit you said. Okay, but it was 4 months later. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? When you got it initially, you might have been looking, other people could have been looking like, what the hell? Ain't nothing that happened. Oh, but it's sensitive. Just give it a minute. Give it a minute. So this is why I'm saying this may help some of you to lessen a little bit of that frustration, a little bit of that stress, unnecessary stress, a little bit of that unnecessary confusion, and just make it a little more simple for yourself. When it comes to connections, if you're somebody that was on a twin flame journey, and like I said, there's always one that's ahead, okay? Which means you're going to see and know truths about people long before the other one. Here's why it's best. Some are going to argue me about this. But my resonance is like, okay, they already think the ascended ones are nuts. Okay. When you're talking to people who are locked into this 3D grid, this matrix grid, they're asleep. Okay. They already look at the ascended ones as nutso. In fact, most of what the ascended ones will share, people will try to twist it and use it in a distorted way. Let me give you a case in point. I can say and speak from my own journey that I already knew that the original, I'm not referring to DM2, I'm referring to DM1, okay? I already knew that DM1, that his exes and his family was in part why his life was stuck. I knew that they divulged in things that they denied. I knew that they were doing rituals. Okay. I knew this, but I equally knew, let me explain why I'm saying all of this. See, if the counterpart is still in their own shadow, hear me out, their own shadow, they haven't, fully awakened. They still got all their addictions and attachments onto them. They're still surrounded by the karmic energy and under the spell work in which has been practiced on them. If that's the case, anything that the divine counterpart tries to say, first and foremost, is going to always be shut down, met with resistance, all sorts of stuff. And I knew that about my situation. Oh, they're crazy. Oh, they're nutso. Oh, they're this. Oh, they're that. Right? And if, like in my case with the original DM1, people who put folks on a pedestal because they managed to get a degree, they managed to get a job and making some money, people who kind of like are shallow in that way and they feel like that makes them, an upstanding citizen, I guess, which it does not. I mean, I don't even want to get into some, it does not mean that. But when you're dealing with people that are materialistic, which I knew DM1 is, and that their background prizes the conditionings of this 3D, who got the better job, who got the most money, who kissed their ass, who do this and who do that, right? So, it's going to sound like collective if you try to have this kind of a conversation with these types of people. Then first thing's going to be said is, oh, they're a hater, which is usually the other way around. I'm just going to keep it on the 100. It's the other way around. But that's what's going to be, oh, they're just a hater because, we have such a close bond. We've known each other since we were 3 and, you know what I'm saying? And yada, yada. And, I'm the one that's been here. I'm the one that's been paying the bills. I'm the one that's been taking care of your children. And so it's like, and then that person, which is the case with with DM1, it's believable because the 3D program is going to say, who are you going to believe? The people you've known all your life or somebody that you've only known for a few minutes or a few months? You see where I'm going with this? The conditioning, the program of the matrix. So it's almost a waste of energy and time because they're already in their shadow. They're already fucked up. They're surrounded by fucked up. Okay. On top of the spell work that they don't believe is on their asses. So it's like you're going to be talking Chinese essentially to the person if you try to sit down and have this truthful conversation. by the way, your exes and your baby mothers or your exes and your baby fathers are doing rituals on you, been doing rituals on you, kind of why your life is fucked up, kind of why you could never really move on. They're going to laugh at you. This 3D program is going to say they're just trying to separate you from your support system. They're just trying to separate you from those who are helping you out. And so the best thing we can do, collective, as I put in the title, you're going, to have to literally cut them all out. And continue to ask your light team, expose everybody, but move on with your life. Because until people come into truths for themselves, right? Unrefutable truths for themselves so that they can't argue their way out of it, or it can't be convoluted with, oh, it was coming from her or him. They a hater. They just don't want me to have no support. They just don't want me to, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's best to totally just let go and walk away. You don't have to prove anything. This is one of the lessons that's it's frustrating at first because you know the truth. You see through the illusion. You see through the games. You see through the spell work. You see through the fuck shit. So, no matter, I don't give a fuck. When you start waking up, it's like, I'm over that. I don't care if they've been making cookies and going to soccer games since day one of the baby, okay? If they asses, you see what I'm saying? You get to a place you're beyond that. You're beyond it. But the counterpart, you have to let them go. I mean, literally, for real. They may have to suffer. They may have to suffer this lifetime because it's called a lesson. Nobody can teach it to you, you see. We can't teach that. It will be met with resistance. You will be looked upon as someone Looney Tunes. So you heal your own life, your own self, call judgment on motherfuckers, ask your light team, expose all they bitch asses, and you know what I'm saying, and and then, call the judgment, go, okay, execute it, hand it over to the higher selves, execute this. No matter what people decide, may this be their lot. Period. Period. And then you move on. And, for some, maybe the next lifetime, if that's in the cards, if that's in the contract or whatever for them. But don't attach yourself to, well, they don't know the truth or they're under an illusion. See, at the end of the day, just case in point. I was under illusion. I'm going to prove it right here, right now. Case in point. I was under an illusion. I was under spell work. Okay? Yep, I sure was. My family had been doing rituals for a long time. And this was hidden. I didn't want to believe it. See, I'm proving a point here. Hear me out. I did not want to believe that. Who wants to accept and believe that their blood or anyone that they grew up with would do it? Nobody, that's not something you easily swallow. So I resisted it. And because I resisted it, I was under the illusion. I remained under the illusion for a time. Okay? It also made me susceptible to their rituals because I was still connected. And it was hidden. I talked about the power of the rituals is in that it is hidden. This is why people disguise as upstanding citizens. This is another reason why they do the shit. I figured that out too. Okay? No, I'm not doing that. I wouldn't do that. I'm not into that. I don't believe in that. We don't believe in that. Oh, yes, the fuck you do. It's on the shit to get down. They didn't show me the shit. Okay. So I was under that illusion. Okay. I was under the illusion even about DM1. Okay. I was under the illusion about DM1 for a time. For a time. Until I started doing more inner work and asking my guides to step in more. Okay. But as long as I stayed connected to DM1, hear me out. As long as I stayed connected to DM1 while he's in karmic energy, then I put myself in that illusion. Because if he is not operating in his divinity, if he's still operating from karmic energy, deception, magic, fuck shit, that's distortion. And if I connect to it, then I put myself right back under it, right? This is why I had to do what I had to do this last go around. It's like, he's still fucked up. Judgment, boom. We're not doing that, okay? So, okay. So like I said, I was under the illusions for a while, but it was in my separation and me setting intentions and me asking my guides, expose my enemies. See, I had to get intentional and I had to verbalize things. Okay, reveal my enemies. Show me my enemies. Show me what's hidden. I had to separate myself and then continue to make those intentions. And in doing that, this is how I got out the illusion. Okay? When you try to talk to someone that's in illusion, you're usually going to feel very confused by the time you get off of any type of conversation with these people. Because they're still operating from the narcissistic template. So confirmation. There it is. There it is. All they know how to do is scapegoat, triangulate, project, and deflect. That's the program. So there is no accountability. So when you have that's deception frequency, you're going to feel it. Okay? But if you were to try to, let's say, because see, once upon a time, I used to, man, y'all, hear me out. Boy, I tell you what, once upon a time, I used to tire myself with trying to talk to these MFers. It's a waste. Listen, they're on the program. Anything you say can and will be used. Anything you say, once it gets inputted into their program and to get down that they're operating in, it ain't gonna be none what it is. It's gonna be some other shit. So it's a waste. And it only further perpetuates your frustration, but it further keeps you tied into and connected into the illusions. And you, if you're a divine being on the path, you deserve your peace. And you won't get that if you allow yourself to stay connected to people that are in this type of energy. I used to try like, oh, no, because it's no. No. These folks, usually when they're in this density, that type of energy, they are incapable. I mean this. They are incapable of full, sincere transparency, full, sincere authenticity and accountability to their own behavior, choices, decisions, and actions. On top of this, you don't want to stroke any further because see, when you're dealing with those narcissistic types, going the back and the forth is only feeding. Some people still feed off drama. It's called negative attention. Hello. So allowing the letting go and like literally meaning it to the bone. Okay. I'm not talking about as some type of a tactic and strategy. Nope. I'm talking about entirely. The longer we try to linger about, this is why it serves us to do our own due diligence and research on things. Nobody's lives are to be stagnated. I don't care if you think you're on a twin flame journey or not. That's another kind of program in itself, but I don't want to get too deep, okay? The labels in the 3D versions of the twin flame journey versus what it really is about. Okay? It's always about the ascension. It is always about the ascension. It is always about healing. It is always about those inner traumas and wounds and all those things. It's going to always be the primary get down, okay? It ain't got shit to do with these conditionings and labels and all the stuff that we've put onto it in terms of the 3D. It still has free will connected. So there has to be a collab. If there isn't a proper collab, then there is a forfeit and a violation. And then shit shifts. Yes, it does. And everyone's contract is different. So it's kind of, you really can't put it in a cookie cutter template. Allow, whether this is about soulmates, friends, family, twin flame, any real deep connections that you all feel you've had to walk away from due to them being lower vibratory, toxic, karmic, abusive, narc, whatever. Cut them loose. Case in point, I'm very transparent with you guys. I share stories about my life. It's for a reason. It's also proving something. This is why I'm glad that some stuff I've recorded. Because if people were sincere and benevolent in nature towards you, things will look a whole lot differently than they did or do. I tried with family for years. I was forced, like most of us get to a point where we're forced to have to see the truth about our own family. That's one of the biggest hurdles on a divine path. When you're forced to have to realize whether you wants to swallow it or not, is your motherfucking family's part. Yes, the fuck. Yes. Yes, motherfucker. They the ones been stealing from your ass. Yes. They the ones been snickering and talking about you behind your back. Yeah, they the ones is thieving and frauding. Yeah. It's them. They're the ones doing the magic and hating and fucking around with your husbands and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends. Yeah. It's them. They're the ones that wanted you codependent because they are codependent. It's them. They're the ones that were using manipulation to make you feel obligated to stay stuck with them. Yep, it's them. But see, until we have to do it, if someone else were to come and tell me that, listen, as a matter of fact, people did. I think I told a story where I had got, this was like back in 2018. It had to be 2018, the very, very tail end of 2018. And I had got a reading, and a reader told me there was two different readers and two different people who was confirming that my family members had sent death rituals to me, and I didn't believe it. 2018, I remember this now. It was the end of 2018 when I first got word of it. And I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? It was two separate folks that didn't know each other. And I was like, what? I was like, nah. I kind of just took it like, oh, well, that part ain't true. And then I just listened to the other parts, right? I was like, I know they fucked up, but, are they really going there? Like, I knew they were fucked up, but I was like, is it to that extent? And, but guess what? You see what I'm saying? This is the point that I'm making to you guys. It's until we're ready. This is why I'm advising that sometimes it's better to just let go and walk away. Because even when people try to reveal truths, if you don't want to hear that truth, if you don't want to believe that truth, if you're not ready to accept it as truth, then it's not going to even be helpful for you. You're not going to do anything with it. In fact, it's going to kick up a resistance. You may look at the individual as, they tripping or, so it's just kind of better to like realize like, okay, the universe may step in to help us get to the point of being able to accept it, which is what happened to me. It happens to all of us that awaken. Okay. It's not easy. That part is the painful, very painful. Okay. It's easier to accept, that is Joe Schmo or somebody's ex-ho, or, it's easier to accept that those the motherfuckers. You be like, yeah, I kind of expect that. I'm still sending that shit to their ass too. But to, for it to be your people, your mother, your father, your children, those you grew up with, your sisters, your brothers, people you held in high honor and respect. That's a little mind shattering. And it's up to you to get there. Okay? Collective, if you're on the ascended path and you're ahead of the rest or counterparts or whatever, as tempting as it is, if this resonates with you, of course, if you feel guided to speak the truth, then if you follow your guidance. But my experience is that when these people, if they're still asleep, you know what I mean? They haven't done no real healing. They're still like kind of focused on the 3D and surface. They're not going to get that type of stuff. They're going to look at you as somebody that's trying to cause division in their home and their family and their friends. And so it's just kind of better to go, okay, I'm not going to connect myself to nothing toxic. I'm not going to connect to an illusion, and I'm not going to play the game. But I'm equally not going to try to make someone see something. This is a journey that needs to be willingly gone upon, just like the Matrix. You got to take the red pill. Nobody can try to just stuff it. If we looked at that movie as symbolism, it's like you have to willingly choose by act of your sound mind and free will to take the red pill. It cannot be something forced upon. It'll bring distortion and destruction. And it's like that when it comes to collective. You know who these karmic energies are in your life. You knew what has surrounded your path, and you know who the karmic energies are regarding your, counterpart. But to try to tell them that, it's a waste. Remove yourself. Set intentions daily. Heal your life. That's the best you can do for the journey. Moving on. Allowing people to go on their perspective path, even if it means they stay karmic and they stay connected to karmics and the penalties that come with it. It's like the energy of the crabs in the bucket. Okay. If you want to be free, you have to be insistent upon climbing yourself up out of that bucket. Okay. You can't be worrying about trying to grab the claw of the other crab that's at the bottom of the bucket, because what's going to happen is what they call the crabs in the bucket syndrome. They're not going to be like, oh, great, they're helping me. They're getting out of the bucket and they're helping me. No, they're going to look at, why are you leaving? You belong to be here. Come back here. Stay with me here. Be here with me in my toxicity. Be here with me in my fuck shit. Be here with me in the illusion of the 3D template. Stay here with me. And if you're incessant upon trying to pull people out of the bucket, you yourself are slowed down. You'll have plenty of opportunities to help many people because that's the way this is. But it'll be those who are ready and who are divinely guided to you, who are already in a frequency of receptivity and readiness. It's not going to be something where you're trying to convince. That's violating their journey and path, and it's also a waste of your energy. Your life in healing and ascension and freeing yourself from the crabs in the bucket is helping the collective. And it's helping those who equally are trying to get out of the bucket, or who one day will be behind you trying to get out of the bucket. And they will be gloriously happy to hear what you're saying, to receive. They'll even come to you. Okay? And this is when you know that you're not violating somebody else's free will either. Okay? I hope this helps. But, meditate on it, mull over it, ponder it, think about it, set your intentions. Hey, should I tell counterpart that his friends and family are so-and-so is karmic and they're doing spell work and they're, hating on me and they're sending me distorted energy? Because in the case of DM1, it wasn't just they were doing these things on him and why his life had been what it had been. Okay? But they were doing it on me because they knew about the twin flame journey. And then once they discovered who I was, and in case of DM1, he has a tendency, people that he trusted or he held in high regard and honor, he had a tendency to say certain things. So I know emphatically he told them stuff, and it made these people jealous. I know it. And this is why they started doing the rituals on me as well, because to them, that's a karmic mind. So it just turned into all sort of crazy. But it's also a waste of time to try to convince anybody any differently. I'm still calling judgment on all their asses. I won't relent until this is finished. But I am healing and going on. But I'm still, yep, correct. Just you're damn straight. Correct. That's Kali Ma energy. Correct, goddammit. Because how dare they? That's how I feel. I don't care what's what and what happens and who and where and what chooses. It don't make me no never mind. But in terms of the fucked up shit, the violations to me, yes. Me, my son, my money, my stuff, you're damn straight. I mean business. But collective. Let them go. Don't be the crab in the bucket. Don't let them crabs in the bucket. You have a purpose for being here, which is happiness, bliss, peace, joy, fulfillment, and helping those who actually want it, helping those who are truly receptive and divinely guided to you. Not somebody that's hell-bent on trying to prove you wrong when you're right the entire time. See, that's the kind of stuff you don't want to waste your energy on. Because it's not about proving. It's like, look, this is my journey path, blah, 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 blah. I shared with you guys, last conversation I had with DM1. you know, you always look back at those conversations and you'd be like, damn, you know how you go like, damn, I should have said this. Whoa, I should have said this, right? Parts you feel like you forgot. Like, oh, I forgot to say, oh, right? But things happen as they should have, right? But I swear there, there was a moment in the exchange where, he mentioned, like I said, he mentioned the cosmic union. I mentioned to him, I was like, I know who you are. He said, I know who you are. But back to me. But see, I really wish my guys is like, nope. They're like, it went down how it was supposed to, Brandy. Now you just, you want to do, you want extra and shit. Cause I'm like, man, damn. I'm like, I should have been like, first thing I was like, I should have just been like, look, soon as he called, I should have just been like, do you know who I am? Period. Like, I should have came out with some rough shit. Like, and then if it wasn't what the answer I needed, you know what I'm saying? Then I could have been like, right? But, and that's just me. That's my human side. Because I'm like, other than that, it's like, it's a waste of time. I don't got time. I don't got the energy for this shit no more. Do you know who I am? Some would say, well, damn, Brandy, what you trying to say? I'm not talking about arrogance and puffiness, guys. I'm talking about in respect to, had he awakened? That's what I'm talking about. Because anything shy of his awakening fully, he's still in a karmic energy. He's still not able to identify properly. And if that's the case, it needs to be dial tone. And it used to be a dial tone and shit, because I don't think we have it now. This is back in the days, or do we have it? Anyways, yeah. And then those are karmic cycles. I heard somebody talk about today. Who was that? I was like, that's true. Even if you're on a divine path, when a counterpart is not doing their healing and awakening, sometimes you have to break the karmic cycle. Especially if they had a tendency in other lifetimes to do certain things, and then they made an agreement in the ethers and shit. Okay, this time and shit, this time in the next life, you know what I'm saying? We gonna get this shit right. Here we go, another contract. Boom, here we are, and still the same shit, right? So it's gonna take one of the counterparts, the one that's the most awakened, to be able to break the karmic cycle, even between counterparts. Because then we start getting in the way. Do you see where I'm going with this? Because this ain't about just making nice with a motherfucker. It's a reason. It's like, no, they may have patterns, and source, their higher self is hell bent on, no, we're not doing that. You can do that with your karmic horrors, but we're not doing this. This is not the purpose of this union. We're not doing that. We're not going to keep on going round playing the game and shit, because you fencing to pay this lifetime. We're going to make sure, motherfucker. Right? So I know I'm saying a lot and it's all jumbled together, and this was not planned collective. So just, this is not a planned teaching, but and it's the toughest thing to do, especially because you have that past life energy influence, which is going to have you feel drawn and compelled to want to rescue if you were always the rescuer. Or whatever the situation is, that person having never really learned how to stand on their own 2 feet, or stand in their power, or man up, woman up, become accountable. That's hindering the contract and hindering their own growth progression, which is, to be quite frank, why they sometimes have a tendency to stay with karmic connections, because karmic connections are the easiest ones to have. And when I say easy, I'm referring to not that they're not tumultuous, because they're usually full of hell, but it doesn't require any real growth and maturity or awakening and healing. So a person is in a comfort zone because they don't have to be accountable. They don't have to. To be with a divine counterpart, there is a requirement. Okay? So just stay on your path. I know it's easier said than done, and at least it feels that way, but keep asking for your higher self, your ancestors and guides to continue to help you and strengthen you to cut ties from the inside out, deeply, and let people go. And continue to set these intentions and ask them to expose your enemies, expose what's hidden, expose who's doing spell work, expose who's working against you. If you do this and you're open, your guides are going to show you, okay? Now it's going to be up to you of how you deal with that, but they will. Okay, and this is the part that we don't always want to hear, because it's not, we were hell bent on it being everybody but our family, everybody but our own children, everybody but the people we grew up with. And then the guys come in and say, you asked us to reveal who was doing spells. You asked us to reveal who was secretly hating. You asked us. Sorry about that, you guys. Sorry for that little interruption there. But yeah, your spirit guides are going to be like, you guys ask, show me my enemies, show me who's working against me, show me who's lying to me, show me who's, and this is going to help you to know. And then from there, you just can say, okay, light team, expose them not only to me, but expose them to the world, expose them to all that are involved, or whomever, needs to know. May this be revealed. May it be revealed. No matter what people choose, no matter what paths people take, but may it be revealed as karma, as karmic ramification, okay, as you move on with your life, okay? And, of course, called judgment and justice, where there's foul play, where people, if there was anything illegal and violations in that respect, you can also say those same intentions with your team and continue to collaborate with them as they guide you. But fully let these people go. Cry your tears. I'm not saying, feel your feels. That's a part of the healing. Feel your feels. I mean, because, there's a level of shock you're going to go through at first. There is going to be shock to your system. I'm telling you now. And then that's when that fight, flight, freeze stuff kicks in, because there's going to be it's a trauma. It's going to be a shock. Like, this dizzy motherfucker. You're going to go through different things. I'm going to tell you right now, I went through different phases. It's why my team got me away. They needed me to be away, because I had already started embodying Kali. Okay. So I wasn't playing. I was no longer the person that people remembered me to be. Okay. Only in theory, only in appearance, maybe, but truly, no, I'm truly not. Kali Ma had kicked in. And so when that kicks in, do your research on who she is and what she did. That's a bad motherfucker, you see. And so guys, it's like, yeah, we got to get her, or she needs to get her. We need her far gone somewhere, because it ain't just about what these folks up to. It's about her power and what she can do if she really wanted to. So that's the funny part, because it's like it wasn't just what people thought. It's like, yeah, they needed me to get away because people were scheming and scamming on me and my son. That was only part of it, though. The other part is so that I wouldn't war. And some real destruction. Okay. The destruction that's happening to people now is separate from me, you know. It's because of karma and it's because of my team executing things. But if I were around, oh Lord. So I promise you guys, you know, like just allow yourself, be kind to yourself with this process. If you were ahead of the game here, the best thing you can do for you this journey is just walk away from this stuff and let people live their perspective lives. Yep. And truths to come out that way, because then they'll have to sit with it. And that's how I felt about me and my situation with DM1. I don't even know who DM2 is yet. Okay. So, I mean, there's so many potentials. So it's hard for me to say because I feel like I have several DM2 potentials. I'm going to keep it real. Okay. But with DM1, I really felt like the best thing that could happen would be that separate from me, and all this needed to be separate from me. I needed to be separate from the whole thing, separate from him, long gone somewhere else, then for truth to hit him. Because now it's not tied to me and it's not tied to, you know, me whispering in his ear and saying this and that and me giving, you know what I'm saying? Now it's something that's forced upon him in a way by the universe. Like, well, whether you want to admit this to anybody or not, we finna show you. We gonna show you something. And this has to be done this way so that Bloomy is not connected to it. It's to prove a point. The people that's doing up to the fuck shit is the motherfuckers you held on so tightly to. It's been the corporate in your life. The whole time and shit. The whole goddamn time. Ain't had nothing to do with me. So there's a lot of people under judgment in his circle because of it too. You don't fuck with these kind of journeys. It's different. They'll find out slowly and painfully. So, collective, if you're that high viber, just think about all that I've said here. I promise you, this is where you feel better. I had some interesting dreams the last few days, and I told myself, I used to, you know, kind of talk about it a lot, or I'll do a reading, but for some reason, these last few ones that I've been having, I'm guided to not do nothing about it. Not in terms of with Bloom from Within Love. Okay. I know exactly what's happening. Family was involved and my ex. But I'm guided, nope. Make them sit. They will not be able to gather any information regarding what you know via Bloom from Within Love. They'll just have to strap on a pair of balls and face you. Pretty much. So the readings and things that I'll be doing moving forward, you know, it's not going to be. So I'm kind of guided to keep it separate unless they say different. But I'm not going to reveal what's being revealed through the dream state. But I've gotten some interesting information. I'll just say that. It's in part why I'm sharing what I'm sharing to you guys. In a generic sense, that the best thing you can do is cut entirely. All the way. It's hard to pin people in shit if they won't fuck with you. Cut entirely. And then set intentions of exposure. Do it as a daily practice. and karmic justice. Yes. Okay. And then enjoy. And I promise it gets better, it gets easier, it gets lighter. Give yourself space, do a lot of self-care. This is what I've been doing a lot of. I've been graced in this way. Okay. My schedule is a lot more flexible than it used to be. I have days where I'm still a little bit more crunched and I have to kind of still adhere to a schedule. And then I have other days that I have the more freedom, more than I used to. So now I'm like, ooh, now I really can do shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, ooh, I can really sit here and do some shit with my team. Me and y'all. I'll be like, me and my light team together. Quietly in the background. I love it. I love it. And I'm hoping that it certainly serves the collective that I'm here for. I want to be able to have a little bit more fun with y'all. I want to do a lot of different things, okay? Some stuff I'm still reserving for later. There has been advancements I want to share. I talked to you guys about back in December. But I can't yet. My team is still whooping ass and cleaning the house. And so until some things are finalized or I get that green light and they go, okay, now. So for now, it's not some things that are as public or publicized the same way. Okay. But anyway, hope y'all have a good weekend. It is the weekend, right? Shit. I be losing track of time, man. But anyway, yeah, it's still the weekend, right? Hope y'all have a good weekend. If guided, I think I am doing a reading today. I'm just trying to see which direction or what type of reading they're going to have me to do. I may do the Celtic cross. I may do a Celtic cross, and that's going to be kind of regarding whatever it is that's happening in the collective's lives right now. Okay, the Celtic cross type of a spread. Okay, but we'll see. We'll see how I'm guided. I may just do something a little more simple. That's kind of highlighting the good and kind of come on and do some what's good about you, kind of help get y'all's confidence back up or back focused on the good shit kind of energy. Okay. But we'll see. All right, you guys. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you who are truly divinely guided and who are in truly positive vibes towards me and what I do here. So to you all, I send it back to you. May you get it amplified where you need it. Okay, if you're sending that kind of good, loving, positive energy out to the universe and to me, then may you get that where you need that the most in spite of your immediate surroundings, because you may be surrounded by sharks. So may you still may you still get the positivity. And the love and all of that back, okay, if that's who you are. And if you're on the other shit, well, you already know what I have to say to you. May you get that shit back too. By 1,000. All right? All right, you guys. Love and light.